my name is Sarah, and today I'll be doing a book review on Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean. Non-spoilers, I give this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Our main character, her name is Izumi Tanaka, but she goes by Izzy. She lives in a small town called Mount Shasta. I'm just gonna have to, do this one time. And she lives with her mom, just her and her mom, and her best friends. And one day she comes across a book that leads to a possible hint of who her father is, a man she's never met before. And because of her best friends and their spying detective work, she discovers, drumroll please, her father is the crown prince of the royal family of Japan. Yeah, that's a shock. And when they sent out a little feeler, apparently now the whole world of Japan knows that there is a long-lost princess, and so she must go to Japan to not only meet her father, but kind of reconnect with her roots, her Japanese ancestry, and just like navigates the imperial courts, as well as this bodyguard that is supposed to be guarding her. You might say a little romance flares between them. I enjoyed this book. I will admit, the moment I started reading this book, it's like, my nostalgia is rising up. In other words, I kind of rewatched What a Girl Wants and both Princess Diary films. Yes, this has both of those feels to it, except it takes place in Japan. And it's like, we need this movie. I don't care what happens. Netflix! We need Tokyo Ever After as a movie. I enjoyed the characters very, very much. Some people might not enjoy it because it's in first person, so we are basically getting a bunch of dialogue and inner monologue from Izzy, because she's always thinking about things, talking about things, and thinking of things in her past that kind of affected her life growing up, making her more American. And so sometimes it might be a little jumbled up, sometimes it might be a little too info dumpy, sometimes we might be going back too much in the past with her just casually thinking about something going on. But I actually enjoyed it being in first person, because we get to see through her point of view that how she changes from how she arrived at the airport to how her stay continues longer in Japan. We get to see like an emotional and maturity ride and get an inner understanding of Izzy. I was a little nervous when she got to Japan, because we have the imperial family, right? And we, from what we understand, like, all the court intrigue, all the gossip and rumors and everything, this is the oldest monarchy in the world, people. So I knew that there was going to be certain rules and regulations and things. Izzy's not the only youngest family member in this family, so I was really sus about some characters, especially the twins, because they are the characters that have grown up in this environment, so they know how to combat things like the press and everything else and how society expects of them, right? So when they meet Izzy, this Japanese American, I was like, they're kind of scaring me, because they're doing that thing where you know that they're laughing behind their napkins and everything, and how they just do these mind games with Izzy. I'm like, oh girl, run. As well as her meeting her family, like she's trying to figure out where she falls into this. So we also see her being a little clumsy and everything, nervous, unraveling. So I was like, sweetie, just go under the table and wait it out. This made me a little stressed. The beginning part, when she's trying to find her footing in the family, it made me stressed, as you can see. As for the love interest, I was like, oh Lord, here we go. But how it went, I was like, I got this. I can be behind this. I got this. And I actually enjoyed the romance between her and the bodyguard. So I was like, okay, sweet. And when everything happened at the end, I was like, oh, we need damage control. Again, if this became a movie, I have to say, please, Netflix, whatever we have to do, whatever you need, make this into a movie, because I want to see things that are happening, okay? If you want maybe like a 3-part mini-series. That's kind of pushing it, but a movie. We need this movie because, again, we had What a Girl Wants and Princess Diaries movies. Sweet. Yeah, that was early 2000s, slowly making its way to the mid-2000s. This is our modern day version of those movies. We need the update. We need this one, because especially considering the fact that the imperial royal family of Japan is an actual monarchy. That made me a little hesitant. But please make this into a movie. And that's as far as I can get into non-spoilers. Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean. 4 out of 5 stars. Bye, non-spoilers. Shoo. Spoilers. So, like I said, we live in a small town in America named Mount Shasta. Okay, I'll stop. With Izzy and her mother and her best friends. We have Nora, who's basically that best friend that gets you into trouble but's got your back and is the best escape driver ever. We have Glory, who apparently gets in like a bunch of headbutting fights with Nora, but they still love each other at the end of the day. I was like, y'all are still best friends and y'all can fight no matter what, but y'all got each other's backs. That's basically me and my sister. I just like tease her a lot, but she knows I do it because I love her. And we have Hansani, who is basically the mediator and the calm one presence, and if you're having a bad day you can go to her. And we have Izzy. So we have the 4 girls, but also known as the AGG, the Asian Girls Gang. Whee! So we started the book with Nora and Izzy at her room because Izzy is a procrastinator in training. She's the procrastinator apprentice. So sweetie, when you get to college, you will have harnessed that ability and you'll be ready for when you have exams. But she was procrastinating on this topic for school, and Nora's there being a good friend, you know, just like saying either do it or just like wing it. And Izzy's like, my mom's gonna kill me. And Izzy's mom isn't at home right now. She's actually a professor teaching a class. And so they go into Izzy's mom's room to go through her makeup. It's basically Nora, because she just wants to try out some things, you know, and put everything back. But that's when they realize that there's a book on Izzy's mom's nightstand. And when they open it, there's this romantic quote written in there by this mysterious person, and when they read it and there's a name there, they automatically think, could this be Izzy's dad? Because here we go, Izzy has never really messed with her mom's things, let alone read what's written in her books. So this comes as a surprise, okay? This was something her mom kind of kept at bay. Izzy knew that she read this stuff, but she never looked into it. And now that it's there, it is a big surprise that this has been under her nose this entire time. But Nora, being a good friend and all, she decides to investigate. So she's like, give me a few days, I'll figure out who this is, because we know, for starters, that her mom graduated from Harvard, so we will give Harvard a call. Which I am really surprised, because I would think that admin would be very protective of giving away information, because it takes 18 hours before the AGG meets up at the school library with Nora having all this information. It's like, I think we might want to check up on our security, okay? We find out that Makoto, or Mac, that was written in the book, he went to Harvard apparently the same time that Izzy's mom did. And apparently this was also in the school records, because we actually find out the name, and Izzy's like saying this could be anyone, but Nora did this famous Google search and we found out the actual name that belongs to this person, and as well as a picture of a man that resembles Izzy. There's only one problem, because there's something at the bottom of that picture. You know when they say left person, right person, person in the middle? This was the name of the person. Makoto Onomiya Toshihito, the Crown Prince of Japan. Which I was very, very pleased and reliant on when we had this book, because there is a family tree in there, and this was my lifeline. So yes, Mac, he is the Crown Prince, and they compare him to like the Asian version of George Clooney. Izzy does see the family resemblance, so does her friends. So you know what that means. You know what that means, right, people? That means we must confront Mother. And that always goes so well. Izzy's mom does come home. She's a little bit tired, by the way, how she's just gonna prepare dinner. Izzy knows, like, yeah, we're just gonna have an easy night. And so she's helping out in the kitchen until she finally, you know, they've always had this weird conversation about her dad. She's like, you know, casual things. But then Izzy just basically drops the name Bombshell as well as the Royal Title, and it gets a little awkward, I will admit, because the mom's a little resistant to answering. Izzy gets frustrated, so you know, they take a moment, separate, but then Izzy's mom comes around and she starts talking about Izzy's dad and how they knew it wasn't going to go far. She knew this relationship wasn't going to work completely because Izzy's dad, I'll call him Makoto for shorter reasons, he was very loyal to Japan, to the imperial family. He knew that he wouldn't have a life in America, and Izzy's mom was like, okay, sweet, this will only be a college thing, right? And close to ending her senior year at university, that's when she found out she was pregnant, but she knew that, you know, Makoto wouldn't want to come to America, so she just didn't tell him. They parted ways, a clean break, even though they might have lingering feelings for one another. But she went back to do her own thing in Mount Shasta with Izzy, and Makoto never knew about Izzy. So yeah. And basically her mom gave her this option. Basically, you know, I still know this guy from university. He might still know Makoto, so we can send him, like, you know, an email to pass along. And Izzy was the one that's gonna write. So, you know, basically just throwing out a filler. Which I was like, whew. I was worried that this girl, because she's almost 18, because this would have been very questionable, I was worried about her finding her way to Japan by herself and finding her dad. And it's like, girl, don't do that. If you do, at least go in numbers. Bring the gang with you. So I thought we would have like a girls thing. But when we found out about this, I thought maybe, because apparently spring break's around the corner, maybe Izzy would have gone with her mom and possibly the girls to Japan to, you know, do a little vacation, get a little filler, feel the area, see what's going on, get eyes on the father, do a little recon, and when Izzy felt, you know, comfortable, then to send out the email. But no, we just sent it out, hopefully get a reply back. It's been a few days and everything. Nura's driving all the girls back to their houses after eating at the diner, and Mother, if you want to get your child's attention, just call. Call. Don't send texts, even though Izzy said the only way I reply is through text. If it's something important, like let's say paparazzi being on y'all's front yard, call your child. And it's like she doesn't answer once, call 50 times. Call your child, no matter how many times, even if it's 100 times, if it's important. Like paparazzi somehow getting a hold of this email, finding out, oh, there is a long-lost princess in America. Call, because when the girls get there and they step out, they're like, Princess Izumi, Princess Izumi. I'm like, crap. We also have a little taste of the Tokyo Tatler, this newspaper blog group that I actually enjoyed being in the book, because we do get articles from them, and I will admit, yes, this is modern day, but in the back of my mind, I had that guy's voice from Legend of Korra, the guy that was always reporting on the pro bending fights, like the old 1920s rushed voice. I had that going in the back of my mind, but through them we got to see what the press was feeding out to the public and what the public would get an opinion on Izzy, because they also give her the nickname the Lost Butterfly. And so they're there, we get a small taste of them. Izzy's mom gets her and Nura inside, and that's when we see the ambassador for Japan, who took a flight from DC to come over and greet Izzy, and they give her a formal envelope with a formal invitation from the imperial family. I'm guessing they have their press there too, and it's a invitation for Izzy to come to Japan to meet her father. I was like, sweet, is there a +1? Because I am not going anywhere without Mother. But Izzy does take the invitation to go meet her father by herself. So we are at the airport saying goodbye with security and Secret Service and everything, because she is a princess, so she gets the full go on security. and she says her goodbyes to her mother because her mother's like, you know, you're just giving us an extra week of school and it's spring break, so you know, 2 weeks, sweet, no harm, no foul, and it is your senior year, so do a little something crazy, sweet, no senior pranks, just going to Japan to meet my long lost father. You go ahead, sweetie. I would have been like, Mother, please come. We'll make them have a +1. But Izzy goes, and we are on our way to Japan. We are on our way to Japan, yes, and we have just landed. Izzy didn't go over the itinerary nor the, you know, information that the ambassador gave. So sweet, we're going in there blind. Okay, sweet, because the airplane had like all the seasons of Downton Abbey, and we were watching that, and she was kind of unaware of the guard that was like behind her, watching her the entire time, also watching her watch Downton Abbey. So when they land, she's a little surprised that the guard is there, and he's speaking in Japanese to the earpiece and everything, and we're getting ready to, you know, disembark. And when she looks at this guard, I am like, Izzy, we literally just landed like 30 seconds ago, and you're already eyeballing the guard, because yes, he's younger than the guard, regular guard would be. I believe he's like in his, he's 20 or 21, and his name is Akio Kobayashi, and they immediately butt heads where Izzy thinks he does not like her, because he's like, everything must be on schedule. Same, I am like that too, either be there about 10 minutes early or be there spot on, and we have this long itinerary that would make me run away. But Izzy, she doesn't get that, and she also had multiple drinks, so we must have a bathroom break, which puts us definitely off schedule. But I'm like, okay, staying on schedule, yes, Izzy, let's go. Oh crap, we had about like 10 macchiatos. I really need to go to use the restroom. So we do use the restroom break, which surprises everyone, because yes, they're at the airport and these people were making meals and they're like getting all mad and everything, but they say, it's Princess Izumi, and oh, go ahead, go use the restroom. We finally get outside. There's all these reporters. We don't know what the proper protocol is for, you know, reporters, so they do get mad in the article saying, you know, she didn't acknowledge the reporters. She got into a fight with the bodyguards. Like, I would do the same thing, because again, I don't know the proper procedures, the etiquette when dealing with these things. But we have, you know, the limos come up, and she thinks it's gonna be her dad, but no, it's not. We have Mr. Fujigami, who is a chamberlain, and who I guess is assigned to her, like, you know, kind of like the butler in a way, and he is there to take her to the palace. So it's like, wow, we're moving pretty fast on this. We get to the palace and we meet Izzy's lady-in-waiting, who her name is Mariko. So we have our team. We have Akio, the stubborn yet young bodyguard. We have Mariko, who is lady-in-waiting and will make sure Izzy's presentable and knows the ways and everything of court life and how to deal with the public life of Japan. But she also has that way where, like, you know, you're thinking, does she like me or does she not like me? And we have Mr. Fujigami, who is there to help with like the press and everything, giving her the tail signs when she's doing something right, doing the tail sign when she's not doing right. So we have our team, right? We have our team assembled. And after Mariko makes Izzy presentable, because she came in like tired wear and now she's all prepped up, we go meet Father Makoto. And of course, it's awkward. We never met each other to begin with. And it's understandable. They're both getting out the feelers. He's asking things because he got the report on her. But there's so much that a report can do. And so they go for a walk. They're getting to connect, getting to know each other. And like, you know, hopefully the stay is comfortable, right? And then we have a dine-in with the family. Of course, the Emperor and the Empress, they're not there. They are doing their own tour to, you know, for political means, you know, keeping things sweet in the public eye. And Izzy has to introduce herself, and she's like, hi, my name is Izzy. I'm from Mount Shasta. And they're like, quiet. And the twins are there, you know, talking about us in front of our faces. And it just gets awkward. And Izzy talks about her dog. And it's still awkward, and she just starts to unravel. I'm like, sweetie, stop. Let's hi. Oops, I dropped a dish, kind of thing, distraction. But we eventually make it through that. We meet the rest of the cousins and another member of our group, Yoshi, who was the one that was very sus because he was very nice. He was the one that's like, you know, reported that was living life out on his own until he was cut off, so he came back home. And there's some, I guess, you know, he's the rebellious son and everything, the cousin, and he doesn't like the rules, so he tries to do things his own way. And so he says, I will take you under my leg. And she's like, don't you mean under your wing, and he's referring to the crane. And he's like, but in America, you know, we do under the wing. Even his brother was like, yes, it's an American say. It's like, no, it shall be under the leg. It was like, I don't know how I feel. Yoshi, he's too nice, he's too friendly. I will keep my eyes on him. But later on, he wins my heart. So how we know how things work in the, you know, the palace is that we cannot have, you know, social media, political opinion, or, you know, our own cell phones without going through Chamberlains and everything. So basically, Izzy's been hiding her phone on her person against Mariko's, you know, approval. She's like, you have a weird clinginess to it. It's like, but I need my phone. Also, to talk with the AGG. And she's been talking about Akio. And they're like, can you get a picture of him? And he, like, click. Did you take a picture of me? No. Send. And they're like, girl, make your move on this dude very fast. And they're like, she's like, we don't like each other. But it's like, Akio, you had me. I thought you were just not, you were this cold-hearted, stone-faced person. But no, you got humor to you, man. You got humor. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, Izzy's like asking questions and he's making jokes, okay? He's making like how to take care and hide a body if need be. I was like, oh, okay, you got some humor. And we find out his favorite movie is Die Hard. I was like, okay, we're finding some common interests, some interests that might not be ours, but we're finding some interests. And Izzy is actually starting to enjoy his presence. Like, of course, he's got to switch back to bodyguard mode, but now we have a stepping stone on becoming friends and eventually romantic relationship. And the jokes continue because we also found out that he was the one that gave, well, we found out that the press found out about Izzy's code name, which was Butterfly, so the Lost Butterfly, and now they call her something else, and Akio suggested it, and it was Radish. And she's like offended, but he gives a good enough reason why, because first of all, he likes radishes, and radish is basically this vegetable that is very hard, sturdy, and not willing to bend. So it's like, you know, awesome. But for me, I'm like, radish, oh my god. But it's like, okay, that's endearing, I like that. We need a night out, okay? We need a night to ourselves. And who better yet to come up with an escape plan than Yoshi? Because apparently he knows the ins and outs of the palace on where to get out. He sends it out, the invitation to Izzy, and she's like, how do you know my name, my phone number? He's like, I am a prince, I can get anything. So are we good? Do you want to go out? I can give you the best night ever. And she's like, you know, I need a little normal time, a little me. It's like, fine, cool. It's like, cool, let's begin the mission impossible. Follow these instructions and wait for me at 0700 whatever, and I will be there with our escape ride. And our escape ride, because she does follow all of the instructions, is an Uber driver. And Yoshi's like, yeah, we're going out. And like, who is this? And Yoshi's like, oh, this is Taka. He does all these other things. We met just a couple of days ago, and this is his life and everything. And Taka's like, yeah. And so we take Izzy to this place, a local restaurant and everything. And with Taka, they have meals, they have drinks. They meet these drunk guys, like literally next to their seats, and they talk, and there are these other girls there, and together after their meals, after their drinks and everything, they all go with these strangers and Taka to a karaoke club, a karaoke bar, and we just have the best nights of ourselves, and we let loose on the world. And I was like, this is how I liked Yoshi. It's like, he has this friendly vibe to him, and while we're, you know, drunk, he opens up a lot to Izzy, and she finds a kindred spirit in him. I'm like, Yoshi. And of course we're having fun with Taka, these guys and these girls, and we know this could be a one night thing. Let's just have fun. But all good things must come to an end because Izzy leaves the restroom and Yoshi's like, maybe I should come with you. Like, no, you enjoy yourself. And she took the wrong turn, went into an alley that's like covered up in a fence, and the door's locked, and like me might have to talk to the manager about that, just, you know, for security reasons, for, you know, a customer who gets stuck out here. And that one of the guys, the drunk guys, comes out and he's trying to talk to her, and she's like, you're in my personal space. But Akio shows up, stops him, but apparently he was trying to say, because he knows some English, he was trying to say sign. He just wanted her autograph, but, you know, we're under the influence, and some things might not just come out as how we want them to, and Akio is there to fix the situation and everything, and she wanted to apologize to the guy. But then, of course, you know, with drinks, there's always the ugly side of drinking, and so Akio takes the full force of that, but he gets her home, back to the palace after stopping by a convenience store for her, and she gets something to drink and everything, and she's texting to Yoshi saying, I'm just heading home, because he's like really worried about her, like, oh my god, did you fall into the toilet? I should have gone with you. She's like, no, I'm fine, I'm just heading home, you get home safe, have a fun time, thanks for tonight. Time is moving forward, so I didn't expect these 2 weeks to, you know, continue on as fast as they did, but the wedding of the Prime Minister and his new wife that we were hinted to at the beginning, as well as the prologue from the Tokyo Teller, they foresee into the future. And we know that the wedding happening with the Prime Minister and his new wife, we have to attend everything, and Izzy's on her best behavior, especially with Mariko's tutelage and everything. We know, we know the cues, we know how to say, you know, hello, goodbye, welcome, and all that. We know the body gestures and everything. We know the seating arrangements. We are good to go. We have our game plan, and Izzy wants to make a good impression for her father, you know, because they're slowly, you know, bonding, and she wants to make a good impression. Okay, no stepping on toes. We got this. We have our cheat sheets. We're good. And then the twins happen. The twins happen, people! Because, again, we are not allowed any news articles, reports, anything whatsoever in the palace, right? So how are we supposed to know that the Prime Minister has a horrible relationship with his sister? Because Izzy overhears the twins saying how her father, Makoto, didn't mention the sister, and they're like, oh, how unpleasant of him. And she's like, okay, cool, sweet, my dad made a mistake. I will make it up to him. And so here's Izzy talking to the Prime Minister, and she mentions his sister, and this happy moment just explodes, and she realizes that the twins set her up. And she basically flees after excusing herself. Akio's there, and they managed to get her to her car. And no, the press wasn't aware of this, but it's like she not only embarrassed herself but also her father, and she was just trying to do a good thing. And again, because information like this isn't let into the palace, it's basically just well-known information. Izzy didn't know this. She did not know this. She thought, you know, oh, they just don't have a good relationship. Hopefully I can, like, you know, bring up good memories. Like, you know, just things, like, you know, hopefully how we are, like, you know, wish that, you know, you had a good relationship with your sibling, and if not, think of the good times that you probably had. Maybe build up the bridge. Okay, sweet. Y'all don't want to get back together. Okay, moving on topic. No, it just exploded, and oh, Izzy, I'm so sorry about that. But it's like the next day after that, and her dad calls for her to come, and she tries to explain herself, but he kind of doesn't listen. And we find out he's sending her to Kyoto. And back in her mind, you think this is probably a punishment, but he's like, no, this isn't a punishment. And he tries to convey through words, and he doesn't show any emotions, that this could be good for her. And this was my favorite place growing up, but he just doesn't give off that feeling, so we still have this odd feeling that it's a punishment. Well, in reality, he did enjoy Tokyo. It's his favorite place, and he is just hoping that she might like it for a change of scenery. Just didn't show that emotion. As well as finding out he is going to finish the tour for his father, because the emperor is just feeling fatigue and everything, so we won't be able to see him, and this will extend her visit in Japan. So of course she talks with her mom, and her mom asks, well, is this what you want to do? Will you regret this? And she says she wants to continue. So her mom's like, cool, go ahead. A few more days of school being missed won't hurt you. And so we're on our way to Kyoto. During the trip to Kyoto, there's moments between Akio and Izzy, because between the drive between the karaoke bar to the Imperial Palace to what happened with the wedding with the Prime Minister, we also found out that Akio, he joined the guard because it's like a family tradition thing, but he wanted to do something else, but he decided to do it because his father had to stay to take care of his mother, who had early onset dementia. And we saw this weakness part in Akio, and thanks to Izzy and the assistance of Mariko, we got to go visit his family because he had to go pick up medicine, and he was really thankful for that. And they were basically connecting more, and we saw that this connection between friends might turn into something more. But then on the way back from the wedding, we had a blowout between Akio and Izzy, him saying that, you know, I have to give myself to Japan and I can't be in a relationship with you. And so she kind of felt a little heartbroken, and she's like, fine, we'll keep things to by the book. And he wanted to apologize, like, you know, call me by your highness because we don't want to break procedure. He's like, fine. And so we thought that friendship was going to be over. But during the trip to, you know, Kyoto, they do make amends. They do repair that bridge, and so we're back onto the path of being friends because she was there for him, and they talk things through, which I'm good with, and he's there for her. And so yeah, our friendship is back. Sweet. Let's see how this works out. Yoshi does show there at the palace in Kyoto unannounced, and his bodyguard Reina is not having it. And he's like, okay cousin, we are in Kyoto, we're going out, I'm taking you to this place, and he's listing places. And of course Mariko is basically, if we go there we must prepare for this, you must have this outfit for this. And Yoshi's like, cool, I like how you're thinking, I'll give you the coordinates, the time, everything, we can plan this. And Mariko's like, yes princess, we must prepare right now, it'll take us at least this much long to prepare this and your outfit and everything. It's like, cool team. Reina's like, I'm gonna kill you. And Yoshi's like, oh, but what about our love? And then all of a sudden in the background we hear something, and then Yoshi's like, hey, be careful with that bag, there's a live animal in there. And I'm like, Yoshi, did you just sneak an animal through customs to get to Kyoto? But apparently he is a model, a project for this guy fashion group, and they're using live animals. And so he just brought a ferret, a white ferret with him. I was like, oh, that is so adorable. We must have a ferret in the movie. And so they go to the place. They don't allow animals, so one of the bodyguards starts walking the ferret, and we have a good time out at night, just enjoying a meal. And when we come back, the people of Kyoto found out, and it's tradition to offer things to the palace to welcome a new member, and they're just following tradition by welcoming Izzy there because Yoshi told her that. And she asks Akio if it's okay to like walk the rest of the way because they're blocking the entrance, and like, yeah, everything's fine, we also have guards out there just in case. And everyone's very respectful. They're there just to give praise, give thanks, to welcome Izzy to Japan. And basically Fujigami is saying this is Japan's way of welcoming the princess, and Izzy now feels more connected in a way. And it's also during this trip in Kyoto where I actually did appreciate the first person POV, because again we hear through Izzy's mind, her checking herself, her thinking how she's changing from how she started from the beginning of Japan to the lessons that she's been taking with Mariko, and how she's becoming more proper and understanding the ways of the court and how to present herself to Japan. And through the visit to Kyoto, to when she leaves Japan, we also see how that works in her mind and how she's checking herself. So I did enjoy that. It made me feel a little sad that she's presenting herself differently, but it's also a growth in her character. We return back to Tokyo, and her dad is there, Makoto, and they present presents. And Izzy, she's been working on her kanji, which you go girl, especially at night when even Mariko's like, I'm going to sleep. You go, you've been working on your kanji. And she presents it to her father, and he really likes it. He really enjoys it. He's like, I'm gonna have it, like, you know, mounted everything, like a proud father moment. And he asked her, do you remember when I asked you why did you come to Japan? And she's basically like, you know, find out more about myself, my roots. Well, the present that he gives her is information on her mother's family tree from back when they were still in Japan, where Izzy finds out that her mother's family has a family crest. I'm like, wow, this is a really good present. And it really does help her understand more things about, especially her mom's side of the family. We have an official outing, especially with the twins there and Akio, because again, their romance is slowly blooming. More, you know, moments to connect with each other, to where they understand. They don't know how this relationship's going to work, but they're willing to figure it out. But they don't want, you know, anyone to know, because we knew that that would also be bad on Akio for how his standing is in the court and his family lineage, to Izzy, who is slowly making her way to the people of Japan to, you know, liking her. So we want to see how this works out. We'll keep it on the down low, and we'll just see how things work out. We'll test the waters. Sweet, cool, everything. We go to a hospital where they opened up a new ward for mothers and children, and the twins are there, of course. And everything's going well until we hear something fall, like a gunshot. Apparently it was just a tired dad that stumbled into a cart, but it sounded like a gunshot. So all the guards went into, attack mode. And while the twins basically pushed their guards to protect them, Izzy covered a baby, which Akio covered her. And of course, the Tokyo Toddler is there. They're getting the scoop and everything. And we find out it's a misunderstanding. It's good. It's good. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. The new mother, stressed as it is already, thanks Izzy because, she actually protected her baby, the newborn baby. And that goes into the Tokyo Toddler, saying, maybe, Princess Izumi is more than we think. Maybe we expect great things from this princess. Sweet! We got the Tokyo Toddler on our side. The most nerve-wracking moment that I never thought I would have was when Izzy, because it's the Emperor's birthday, she meets her grandparents, the Emperor and the Empress. I thought, oh, I'd rather be a king and queen, but an Emperor and an Empress, that's like another level. That's next level. So Izzy, she meets her grandparents. She's talking to her grandparents, and they ask her her opinion on a touchy matter, which is line of succession. Because, okay, from what I understand, it is a male succession kind of thing. And in real life, I understand that, now the current emperor, he had a daughter. And at the time that there were no other male heirs, so they were thinking of revising the line of succession until I believe it was his brother who had a son. I believe that's the line of succession right now. He had a son, so now that was thrown out the window, and so we're passing all the princesses. And if princesses, they only marry people below status commoners, even though they have high standing in society through politics or wealth, but they must give up their titles as princesses. I think that's how it goes. And so they ask Izzy on this matter because the emperor said you must marry her mother and have a son. And Makoto's like, we're not talking about this right now. And so the empress asks Izzy on her opinion, and so she recites the Constitution as well as certain articles in the law, and also makes a reference to the goddess Amaterasu, basically saying wasn't the first empress, the goddess, a woman. And so it's like she manages to navigate those waters very cleanly, that it impresses the emperor and empress. And because she hasn't had her official coming out, in a way she has to stand in a certain area while the emperor and the prince and the crown prince do the the wave. Well, the emperor decides to invite all of his family, making a new tradition, and she's up there with all of her family members waving to the public. We have a nice night at the emperor's birthday party. We do see a moment of weakness between the twins because we heard rumors of how their mother hasn't done so well in the public eye, because the peer pressure, of course, of the press and everything can be brutal, especially people in the imperial family or any royal family. And so their mother wasn't able to, take that. So she has moments, and we see how defensive they are, how protective they are of their mother, because Izzy just wanted to help, and they're like, we can take care of our own mother. Go. You better not tell anyone. It's like, I would not want to do that, especially to your mother. And so she leaves. We have a moment with Akio and the quiet in the dark room and everything, and it's sweet and everything. And like, oh, we finally have nice things. Literally, that page, nice things. Opposite page, we cannot have nice things, people. We are not allowed to. Apparently, we are not deemed worthy to have nice things because the Tokyo Toddler blasted Izzy and Akio all over the internet because they basically say the Princess Izumi, the Lust Butterfly, has a fling with her bodyguard, and they have all of these pictures, all of these reports, all of these sightings of Akio and Izzy, and they're asking people personal information, and the people are ruthless. They are calling Akio reaching too high above his station, saying, oh, he's taking advantage of the princess, while saying, oh, the princess should have seen this coming. She should have known my protocol. This is too American. And it's just everywhere. I'm like, oh my God. Why aren't we allowed to have nice things, people? What? Oh, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, that's all I could say when I saw that title for the new Tokyo Toddler. Oh my God. Izzy, of course, is worried about Akio because she's asking where he is, and she has a new bodyguard. And Mr. Fujigami says, oh, Mr. Kobayashi is gone. I'm like, oh my god, we got him fired. We got him fired. And this was like a lifelong thing passed down for generations, and he did this for his father. It's like, that's major thing right there. So she's like, how am I gonna get this letter to me, Akio, to talk things out, to explain things with everything? And Mariko, she's got her back, and we take the letter to Yoshi because he knows his way around the place. And she said, just give it to him, because Yoshi's like, are you sure you want to do this? And she's like, just give it to him. We'll see where the dice lay. Basically, Yoshi tells her, yeah, I gave the letter. She goes to the rendezvous point, and Akio never shows up. And that's basically an answer to itself. And the pressure really does get to Izzy, that she's like, she calls her mom and says, can you book me a flight home? And she's not telling her dad about this because her dad isn't there at the palace at the moment, so she is leaving when he doesn't know what's going on yet. And Mariko also asks, are you sure you want to do this? Because she really did grow attached to Izzy, and like, you know, you're the best ladies in waiting, like, I'm your only lady in waiting. Like, I know they have a moment, and because of that one article that could ruin so many lives, Izzy goes back to Mount Shasta with her mom, and the girl's waiting for her there. I'm like, damn it, we're just not allowed to have nice things. A week goes by at home. Izzy has taken up the lifestyle of the hermits, you know, wallowing in her emotions. I believe she's still at that. Until Nora's like, you know, girl, we need to beat this thing. We're there for you, but come on, you gotta get out. Life is going on. You need to enjoy it. And we have an encouraging talk from Nora, and as well as kind of cleaning up the room because it needs to be cleaned. And we have a surprise visit because, you know, a week has gone by, everything, you know, yeah. And we get a knock at the door, and Izzy's like, I got it, and Nora's right behind her. She opens the door, and Nora's like, it's Asian George Clooney. It's her dad! It's Makoto! He's there. He's like, hi, Izzy. You didn't say goodbye. And she's like, oh, what are you doing here? And Izzy's mom's like, Izzy, you put too much soap in the washer again. And she comes out, and he's like, hello. And Izzy's mom's like, you're here. Why are you here? And the girls are like, and Nora's like, let me call the girls. I was like, stop it, Nora, stop it. They know about this. Stop it. I was like, oh my god, this is really weird. This is really awkward and everything. And he said he wanted to be there for her graduation. He's still a few days early. And she's like, I thought you wouldn't want to come. It's like, but you invited me to your graduation, so I'm going to come. And I guess he also wanted to talk to her about what happened at the palace. But then we see lights outside. He's like, oh, they found me. And we're like, wait, what? He's like, well, I kind of came without telling anyone. It's like, the Crown Prince ran away from home without telling anyone? Oh my god. This is the best. This is what I've been waiting for. And I start dying because we have 3 days, like day 1, day 2, day 3, of spending time with Makoto in Mount Shasta with Izzy and her mom. And it's like, these 3 days are what I lived for, people, because day 1, everyone's there, security, social service, the chamberlains, the servants, the maids, the press people, everyone, and they're holed up in Izzy's house, and her and her mom with the dog are just like standing outside with the dog, with the secret service stuff. And you know, there's some conversation going on. It's like, okay, the hotel that I'm supposed to be staying at isn't properly searched, security and everything. And Izzy's mom's like, well, you can stay here. While Izzy, because she's been learning Japanese, she's like, pretty sure that's not what they said. But the dad just like jumps right there. Cool, sweet, we're good. So he calls someone over. They gave him like a briefcase. He undoes it, and he takes out a Mount Shasta tour guide. He's like, okay, Izzy, because he's trying to also convince her to coming back to Japan. He's like, I want to know everything about my daughter. I want to know all the cool things here and everything. It's like, oh, we are on proper tour guide mode. And the first thing he wants to do is hiking. And Izzy's mom is giving her that BS look because she knows that Izzy hates hiking. She's like, sure, fine, cool, mom, you ready to go? Because she's also trying to do a parent trap thing with her and her dad. And she's like, I'm gonna get you later. Day 2, we are on foodie mode because we go to the Black Bear Diner, which is the popular place in town. And apparently, okay, Mount Shasta. Okay, I gotta respect this. When they found out that Princess Asumi was, you know, a princess, they're like, okay, small press, everything cool. They're all confined in this one location. we'll deal with it. But with the runaway crown prince, apparently Mount Shasta does not like paparazzi, because Izzy noticed that, yeah, there's these bodyguards and social service members in this small diner with the occasional customer having, you know, meals and stuff while keeping an eye on the crown prince. But there's no paparazzi because Mount Shasta's like, cross this line and we gonna fight. So it's like Mount Shasta is protecting Izzy and her parents because they do not want to deal with paparazzi. This is a town like, come on, I dare you. I dare you to cross this line. I am ready to fight. Are you ready to die? Kind of thing. I'm like, yeah. Go Mount Shasta! Day 3, we have a nice quiet little moment with the gang, with the AGG, and they're spying on Izzy's parents in the backyard because the mom is showing the dad around, and she is really into organic stuff, and she's like, please don't be digging through that, please don't be like, she's showing him the worms. Oh my god, mom, you're supposed to be romantic and everything. And the girls are also there for Izzy because they decided to watch certain movies, not rom-coms, because she's looking over her heartache over Akio. She's like, do we have any movies about, you know, where the hot lead dies first? I'm like, we got movies, people. And so the day of the graduation comes. This is Izzy's dad's last chance to try to talk her into coming to Japan. She says no. And like, you know, I'll come back in August to visit because we're gonna try to work this relationship. And after he leaves, like literally a minute, if even, Izzy looks at her mom. She's like, Mom, I think I made a mistake. And Izzy's mom's like, I think I made a mistake too. And so we let the neighbor who had a crush on Izzy's mom take care of the dog while Nora is there with the keys, and they decide to go chase the escort before it gets to the airport. And I'm like, we get in the car, Nora turns on the car, turn on the radio, and this is what I heard in my head. This is what I heard in my head. Batman! Because Nora just... We found out earlier on that Nora isn't a good driver, okay? So we have the Batman theme going with her driving. Izzy's like, I'm used to this, while her mom is like, Nora, if I knew about this, I would never let Izzy run with you. It's like, we're catching up on them. Like, oh, movie, keep this in. Keep this in because I love this movement. We're just going with the Batman theme song, and we're catching actual up with the escort with the lights behind us. And Izzy's mom is like, Nora, pull over. We don't need you to get any more trouble. I was like, but we're so close. They pull over. Izzy does get out after, you know, they were honking at the escort. She shuts out, and the escort does come to a screeching halt. And Izzy does like, Izzy, what are you doing? It's dangerous. And like, Mom and I are coming with you. And he's like, oh, okay. It's like, that was amazing. As y'all can see, I really enjoyed that moment. And Nora's like, yeah. And Izzy's mom was like, I'm not gonna let you drive my daughter ever again, but we are going to Japan now. We also have a little spicy thing going on in Japan because we know that we aren't supposed to get into politics or with the press and anything, but Izzy decides to try something new. And through much research, we find out this reporter, who is a small group but very highly respected, and we do a proper interview with Izzy, who clears up a few things. She's very posed, you know, very mature, and she's not afraid to answer some difficult questions. And so the reporter, she is very, you know, cool. This girl is very mature for her age. She's very respectful. She's not like, you know, what the Tokyo Tower was. I will do her good. So we give out a good report for the people to understand the new princess. And this is where my heart was destroyed, because we have a moment with the twins, and Izzy accuses them of riding her out to the Tokyo Tower, and they're like, why would we do that? We don't even like the press. You saw what they did to our mother. So they will with the press, to especially what they did to their mom. And so why would we do that to you, especially when you were try to help our mom? It's like, well, if you didn't do it, then who did it? And they're like, don't know. And they take off, and like, she's thinking about the pictures that were put on the press, on the, you know, the articles, and like, these were places where she had been with Yoshi. And we find out that Yoshi was the one that sold that information. She confronts him, and he said, I didn't want to, you know, actually like you as much as I did. Like, he was going to use her to get money because they, you know, the family had come off, and now he has his resources back, and he's getting his own place again, his own form of luxury, and he was going to use all of that stuff against Izzy to get more money, but I guess he did feel something for her as a family member, and so that betrayal, I was like, Yoshi, why did you do this? Well, I am all for what Izzy did to Yoshi. I'm like, yes, I am for that, and I'm also taking the ferret, because what does Izzy do? Reina, I say loud and clear. She peers at me. Have you ever thought of working for an aspiring, self-actualized princess who makes lots of mistakes but keeps life interesting and would never sexually harass you? Reina swallows. Ever so carefully, she places the tub of lotion down. Your Highness, are you offering me a job? I jump my chin out. Think about it. We have Reina now. You hear that, Yoshi? We have Reina now. I'm giving her a raise as well because all the crap she had to put up with you? Yes! You may have done this, you may have ruined people's lives and everything, and we may have cleaned up this mess, but we are taking Reina, and we're taking the ferret too, and there's nothing you can say about that because Reina, next chapter, she is head of security for Izzy. You hear that, Reina? Live long and prosper. We end the book with all of these gifts given to Izzy after the article came out with her interview, and one of them is a keychain, and Izzy had told a story of when she always wanted a keychain with her name on it, but there's never a name with Izumi on it. But she gets this wooden hand-carved keychain with rainbows on it with the name Izumi on it, and there's only one person she ever told that about. And she leaves the palace with Reina like, no, you're not doing this, like, I'm sorry, Reina, but it's for love. And she goes out of the palace, there's still some people there, and she's looking for someone, and off onto the side is Akio. And he was the one that gave her the keychain. Izzy's apologizing for getting him fired. He said, what are you talking about? I had resigned. That's what I wanted to talk to you about at your grandfather's birthday party. And it's like, but then we remember Mr. Fushigami said he was gone. He didn't say he was fired. Akio resigned. He resigned, people. And he actually enlisted into the Air Self-Defense Force, which he always wanted to do because he just took the bodyguard duty for his father. And it's a tradition. And he's going to be in Japan. He's still going to work with the Imperial family. He's going to move up in rank and probably come back to the, somewhere inner circle where he can be with Izzy. And it's like, we will find how this relationship works out. And that's how we end off with possibilities in the air. I'm like, oh, that's the end of spoilers, people. As you can see, I really love this book. I enjoyed it very, very much. I love the cast. I love the crew. Netflix, whatever must happen, please make this into a movie. For those of you who loved Princess Diaries and What a Girl Wants, the nostalgia was there. It was present. It was making me feel all my childhood memories. And this is the update. This is the new modern version that we need for that story. I loved Izzy. I loved her journey, the trials that we had to go through, the character evolution that she went through. It was there. I loved it so much, people. Again, if y'all like that story, if you like Princess Diaries and What a Girl Wants, pick this book up. It's great. Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean. 4 out of 5 stars. My name is Sarah, and bye!